So Nutrigrow Solutions has a couple of bestsellers. It's the fruitful and it's the Pro line. Actually, this has a third part, so the Grow, Bloom and the Hyper. And today I'm going to talk about the difference between those two fertilizers. Obviously this is our most premium fertilizer. It contains everything a plant needs. So an NPK, calcium, magnesium, trace minerals and E72. And it's designed to work together all the time. So you make a batch and you always use A plus B together. A Pro line is a completely different animal. It's designed for plants that are vegetative, plants that are budding, flowering. And for the people that want more production out of a plant, it's designed with a hyper that hyper accelerates the amount of flowering and budding on the plant. But these two have to be used separate. And the bloom and the hyper can be used together. However, some people don't like the amount of nitrogen at the end of the season and they want to winterize certain types of plants, and the hyper can be used as a standalone product. Therefore, this is more a professional setting and for professional use. Fruitful, it's our premium fertilizer. It's our best seller, and it's for a reason. It contains everything. It contains calcium, magnesium, a full complement of NPK. Therefore, it's really efficient and you need to use a little bit to get big results. Those two packages, one set actually, you can make between 500 liters and 1000 liters. It depends on the concentration of fertilized water that you can use to give your plant. And it contains everything. And therefore, a lot of people are using this stuff in comparison to our competition. Really, really affordable and really efficient. Let's talk about the Pro line. The Pro line is a completely different kind of animal, and there is a reason for it. A lot of growers are using potting soil and they make up an own batch of potting soil. A lot of them use calcium and magnesium in dry form, like grit or calcium sulfate or magnesium sulfate. And there's not really a need for introducing more calcium for fast growing plants that produce their end product within 8 to 15 weeks. So it's designed to be as efficient as possible for those plants to be absorbed. So this stuff, it's really hot and a lot of people have the benefit of growing plants very fast. Also you can use it for mother plants and clones. So it's really efficient and a nice product to use. Bloom for flowering and budding of plants, and it's designed to be used separate. So therefore most people buy only a grow and a bloom. But a lot of people want to have bigger results, especially in an area where the competition is pretty high and they need a lot of kilos or end product per square meter. So we designed a product that's called Hyper. So a Hyper, it's designed for two reasons. It can be used separate, but also in conjunction with Bloom. So you can add a little bit on top of the Bloom and get a better result, get more profit out of it, get more kilos per square meters. But the Hyper can also be used separate. And the reason is a lot of people that grow fast growing plants want to winterize them to get more resin in it, get more oils. And therefore it has a very low nitrogen level but a very high pK level, and therefore it's way more efficient to produce more resin and all that stuff. So these three products make the Pro line. It's a completely different way of growing. Also, both of the products, so Fruitful and the Pro line, are designed to be used in hydroponic systems. And it really works. It makes a big difference in production, and also it's way cleaner because you don't need any soil. But if you're going to use hydroponic systems, you need to introduce calcium. So therefore we designed a product called Max, which is the highest form of calcium, water soluble calcium. Therefore it's way more fast acting, and also this stuff can be used as a foliar spray. So you can spray it on the leaves without any problem. There's no need for using extra calcium with Fruitful. It contains 16.5% of calcium, so it's a lot, and yeah, there's no need for it. But there's an exception for those that are going to reuse potting soil. When you're reusing potting soil, especially the stuff that's been used in a fourth season with plants that are fruit bearing, which take up a lot of nutrients and a lot of calcium and magnesium, the soil is going to be drained of calcium. Also, when you grow hydroponics, sometimes it's more beneficial to use a little bit more calcium, but with the fruitful it's really not necessary, except for when you're using really old soil that's reused. So one of the questions we get a lot is, how much fertilizer do plants need? There are so many methods, growing in cocoa, growing in soil, growing hydroponically, even growing in vapor. There's so many different ways people are growing plants these days. It's really hard to tell the amount of fertilizer that plants need. But products like fruitful and Proline contains feed charts. These are our baselines. If you want to adjust it or need a little bit less fertilizer, give it a little bit less fertilizer. If your plants need more fertilizer, guess what? Give it a little bit more fertilizer. These days nobody wants to grow the normal types of plants. Everybody wants to grow the exotics. And when you grow exotics, you need to know a little bit about fertilizer. When you grow the right way, they will perform and they will produce big leaves that are very healthy. When you make a little mistake, that mistake gonna cost you. Therefore, feed chart is a baseline. You can adjust it accordingly. Do you see that the plants need more fertilizer? Introduce 10% more fertilizer. If you see that the plants need less fertilizer, go 10% less. Go maybe even 20% less. And look how the plants react. It's really easy with the fruitful. It's even easier with the Proline. But don't be afraid to adjust your fertilizer according to how the plants are growing or the certain types of plants. But keep in mind, all fertilizer companies make fertilizer based on baselines that work for 99% of a certain type of plant. In my case with the fruitful for peppers, tomatoes and fruit bearing plants. Do I use a special formula or whatever? Actually I don't. I use the baseline. It's medium to large plants right now. And I'm waiting until they're big enough to produce a lot of fruits. But I also see when the plants are producing flowers or a lot of buds that are flowering. And all the fertilizers that are produced by Nutrigrow Solutions are designed that the consumer can adjust it accordingly to what the plants need. So one of the questions we got a lot is products of Nutrigrow Solutions like fruitful and Proline usable for hydroponics? So these are actually designed to perform in a hydroponic system, irrigation or irrigation systems. Even V-Booster and Calimax are designed to be used in those types of systems. However, budget line, the organic line and the Easy Bloom Pearl are not designed for hydroponics. They can be used for cocoa and soil without a problem, but they are not designed for hydroculture. And these are real organic fertilizers and a lot of people are using them and they try to use them as hydroponic fertilizer. We do not recommend it. And there's a reason for it. It contains sugars, and when the sugars get activated with the funguses and bacteria that grows in water, it's gonna ferment and it's gonna smell up the place. So use this stuff only for cocoa and soil or for fast drip irrigation system. So these days we have a little bit more fertilizers. We have Proline, fruitful, V-Booster, Calimax, organics, the Easy Bloom Pearls, and our new product called Budget Line.